Straight up, now tell me, do you really wanna love me forever?
My drink spill on me while I feel on you, I'm saying.
One time for my LA sisters, one time for my LA hoes.
I'm on a money routine. I don't want smoke, I want cream. I don't want no more comparisons. This is a marathon, and I'm aware.
But money, you give me a heart on a typical. I wanted it physical. $1 million, I count up in intervals. I pulled the plug because I seen where that was about to go. They wanted blood, they wanted clicks to make their pockets grow.
What happens when the quietest voice in hip-hop becomes the loudest statement?
Something I can feel. Promise I am never.
When a man who built his career on staying humble suddenly has to choose between his ego and his peace.
Supposed to be relaxing, this passion makes that impossible.
And what if I told you that decision would cost him $500,000 and the respect of half the rap game? Jermaine Lamar Cole didn't just walk away from a battle. He walked away from what could have been the defining moment of his generation.
Instead of capping, why don't you talk about being a broke rapper? That's a perspective I respect.
But before we get to that bombshell, you need to know two things that will change how you see everything. First, the real reason J. Cole backed down from Kendrick Lamar has nothing to do with fear and everything to do with a promise he made to himself at 6 years old. And second, the lawsuit that just dropped in October 2025, that's not about money. It's about respect. And it's about to expose the side of Cole world nobody talks about. Born on January 28, 1985, on a military base in Frankfurt, West Germany, Jermaine Lamar Cole came into this world as the son of an African-American soldier and a white postal worker. But Germany was just the beginning. By the time he turned 8 months old, his parents had separated, and his mother, Kay, moved him and his older brother, Zach, back to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville wasn't kind to dreamers. His mother came from a massive family, 9 or 10 brothers and sisters, all raised by a single mother in a small town where people left their doors unlocked. She gave him a long leash, maybe too long. Because at 6 years old, Jermaine Cole was smoking cigarettes with kids 4 years older than him in the neighborhood.
I was always hanging around the older kids in the neighborhood, and they were smoking. And I was young and fearless. Oh, y'all smoking? Like, let me see that.
But here's where it gets interesting. The moment that changed everything wasn't the cigarettes. It was his mother's face when she caught him. That look of heartbreak, of disbelief, of a mother realizing her baby was capable of lying straight to her face. That was the day 6-year-old Jermaine learned that his actions could hurt people he loved. And from that moment on, he became a self-corrector.
I saw her face. When she smelled like cigarettes on my breath, her face was like heartbroken. It was disbelief. It was like crushed.
A kid who didn't need much discipline because he'd figured out something most people don't learn until their 30s. Your choices have consequences beyond yourself. But before basketball, before rap, before any of it, there was Kool Moe Dee.
First like rap music memory was Kool Moe Dee.
A poster on his wall, a name he loved before he even understood why. They called him Mange Moe Dee, running around the house. His first hip-hop memory, his first image of what cool looked like. And image mattered, even then. Then Tupac died, September 13, 1996. Jermaine was in 6th grade when the news hit, and something in him shifted. He wrote his first rap, a tribute to Pac.
I wrote a rap when Pac died. I was in 6th grade, almost like I had to carry the torch or something like then I took a break for like a year.
But when he came back, he never stopped.
Once I started making songs, I just lived for that feeling of like, yo, did I just make this?
The ciphers started. Kids in circles, taking turns rapping, beatboxing, testing each other. Every time Cole stepped into one of those circles in Fayetteville, the reaction was insane. That validation, that feeling of making people go, ooh, with just words. He lived for that. He got addicted to that. And while music was calling, basketball was still pulling. He loved basketball. Loved it with the same delusion every kid has when they think they're going to the NBA. But Cole's delusion was different. He didn't have a dad who played professionally. He didn't have early signs of greatness. He just had the dream and nothing else. No work ethic behind it yet, just play. Then he got cut from the team, 9th grade. He looked at that list, didn't see his name, and felt his stomach drop. But you know what he did? He came back the next year, got cut again. And that second time, that's when he looked in the mirror and realized you never worked for this. You thought wanting it was enough.
I love basketball so much, and my delusion was high. So to get cut from the team was a gut punch. You know what I mean? I literally could have cried.
Music was different. Music he worked for.
Where did the delusion come from? I really believed, you know when your parents tell you you can do anything, you can be anybody? My mom was big on that.
Most kids hear that and forget it. Cole believed it. But here's the twist. He never told anyone about his dreams. Not his mom, not his brother, nobody. Because he knew if he said it out loud, someone might tell him it was impossible. Someone might knock him back down to reality. And he refused to give anyone that chance.
If you would have asked me when I was 13, 14, 15, 16 what I was gonna do, I'm gonna be a rapper, I would have never told you that.
Why wouldn't you tell me?
Because I knew that you wouldn't believe.
You tell me and I go, come on, you're not gonna do that.
Yes.
You don't want to hear that.
When it came time for college, he chose St. John's University in New York. Everyone thought it was about education, but Cole had a different plan entirely. The music industry was in New York. That was it. That was the only reason. He never told his mother, just kept it inside, protected that belief like his life depended on it.
I wouldn't even tell my mom I went to school at St. John's because in my mind, I'm like, the music industry was in New York.
And maybe it did.
And when I decided I wanted to rap, I remember it was a big day. I took the whole day, meticulously ripped down all my basketball posters and pictures.
He tore down every basketball poster in his room. Kobe, Jordan, Penny Hardaway, all of it. One Saturday, he meticulously ripped it all down and replaced it with rap. Source magazine covers, XXL, pictures of rappers. And next to his bed, on the wall he'd see first thing every morning, he hung lyrics. Pages and pages of lyrics. Nas, Eminem, Cannabis, Royce, Tupac. You had to be amazing to make it on his wall. And he'd wake up and read those words like scripture, studying the craft while everyone else was still sleeping.
Had to be amazing. You had to be Nas, Eminem, Cannabis. You had to be Royce to get a verse, Pac. You had to just, because I used to sit, wake up, or even if I'm just in my room chilling and just read the verses. I already knew them word for word, but reading the words was special, like reading them out. So it was like, I don't know why I did it, but I was compelled to do that.
By 2007, Cole was grinding, making music in his dorm room, posting tracks online, building a small following. And then he did something crazy. He started showing up at Jay-Z's studio, not with an appointment, not with an invitation, just showing up. Leaving CDs, hoping someone, anyone would listen. Nobody did at first. But on the third try, something changed. Somebody at Rock Nation actually listened. And by 2009, Cole became the first artist signed to Jay-Z's new label, Rock Nation.
We had just got the deal February, and then like a couple months later, we had went to dinner and Jay was out there. It was me, Mark Pitts, Jay, E was there, like Jay-Z, Jay Brown, Common was there randomly. You know, this is still a big deal for me. Like I remember we had to go like take a shot to like calm our nerves because we was about to go eat with Jay-Z. I had just signed to him, but it was still a big deal to just even be in his presence. It still is a big deal. But like, you know, then it was like nerve-wracking. So we went, sat with Jay.
He was 24 years old, and everything he'd quietly believed about himself was starting to come true. But success came with pressure nobody warned him about.
I got a partner, Eve, you met Eve, and we've been rocking like this from very early on. So I was very confident in that in the beginning. And then, you know, you get a few projects in or out, you know, the pressure starts to build. It's not going exactly how you wanted it to go. And then the pressure hits.
The industry wanted to shape him, mold him, turn him into something more palatable, more commercials. They dangled carrots. Renegotiate your deal. Get another million. But Cole was patient. He stayed hesitant, never jumped at the shiny object. And the longer he waited, the better his leverage got.
I think the thing that I did that worked out for me best was I just stayed patient, and I never took they dangle the carrot in front of your face, you know what I mean? Or whatever thing is like I never took the
never went after the shiny object.
Exactly. Yeah. Meaning like I just always felt like I was always hesitant to do what was being offered. You know what I mean? Although it might, you know, for instance, and I think in rap, or maybe it's music period, but like you have a successful album, they want to renegotiate right away. And the artist is like, yeah, I do that because you're gonna get another million, boom, boom. Yeah, they want to renegotiate, but it's like they're gonna tack on how many albums for that. So it's like, I was like, oh, I got these successful albums, I'm gonna chill. I'm not gonna just renegotiate, I'm good on that, boom, boom. And the longer I waited, the better my leverage played out for me.
He watched the system almost crush Wale, watched it try to break artists after artists who came in with the pure vision and left broken. He refused to let that happen to him.
So I never grew up like, I want you guys to love me. But in the midst of the game, when it wasn't there, it was like, wait, why is that not over there? And then you start focusing on, like, start looking more at like the lack more than the surplus.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
don't have.
Yes, and that was a big part of what I didn't have, was like that side of things. As well as there was other, it wasn't like unanimous amongst the people, but that was the stuff that really like got to me. Like I remember really being like, you know, why am I not on that thing, that list right there? Like it's like they only put one of those songs over there, but this song is better than that song, and it's only number 31, and they trying to say that these songs are better than that. There was like, and mind you, this wasn't stuff I was saying out loud. These were internal conversations that were like damaging me. You know what I mean? It took me a while to like catch myself.
His debut album, Cold World,
Cold life, cold-blooded.
The Sideline Story, dropped on September 27th, 2011.
I wish somebody made guidelines on how to get up on the sideline.
It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. The lead single, Work Out, became his first top 20 hit on the Billboard Hot 100.
I'm here for one night, how far will you go? I wanna see you.
But Cole wasn't satisfied. He knew that album wasn't his best work. It was a compromise. It was what he had to do to get in the door. Born Sinner came next on June 18th, 2013.
Born sinner was never born to be perfect.
And this one was different.
You ever told like a secret to somebody, and you're like, phew, I'm glad I told. Like, phew. That's what Born Sinner felt like for me.
He locked himself in the studio for 7 straight days. No shower, no leaving. People sleeping in the lounge, in the recording booth. At 6 a.m. on the last day, he sat alone and listened to the album front to back. When Born Sinner, the song came on, he started crying. Grateful tears, unbelievable tears, because he'd beaten the system. He'd survived in his pure state when the game wasn't designed for that. He'd infiltrated, played the game, and won on his terms.
I finished the album, I listened to it straight through. We were just about to go to master it. I'm literally sitting in the studio by myself. I had been in the studio 7 straight days, no shower, no like literally straight. Wouldn't leave it. I didn't even see the outside until I was done with the album. And everybody was sleeping in the lounge. Some people were sleeping in the recorder booth, like 6, 7 a.m., maybe even 8 a.m. I'm in the studio listening to the album, and I could not believe, like, it's almost like I'm hearing it for a fan, like a fan for the first time. As soon as Born Sinner came on, the last song, I started crying. Grateful tears, and also unbelievable tears. Like, damn, I really did it. Like, I beat y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been crushed, I could have been broken, I could have lost the shit I had to go through. You know what I mean? And it's not nobody's fault, it's just the way the game was set up. It wasn't set up for me to survive in my pure state, you know what I mean? I'm not supposed to still be here dropping Crooked Smile and having that be a smash, you know what I mean? I had to come infiltrate, play the game, boom, beat the game, come back. Now I'm to a place where I'm like, phew, now it's easy. As long as you come with good music, you can beat Kendrick Lamar.
The album debuted at #2, held off the top spot only by Kanye West's Yeezus. But Cole didn't care about the chart position. He cared that he'd stayed true. Songs like Let Nas Down, Power Trip, and Crooked Smile proved he could make hits without selling out.
So long, what it's like to have a crooked smile.
2014 Forest Hills Drive dropped on December 9th, 2014, and changed everything.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it was like, because you realize those things are addictions, right? Those things become addictions. Like social media becomes an addiction. So yeah, in a sense, it's like you have to check yourself and tell yourself like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, or catch yourself, not get off of there. But every time I feel like every time you say no, and like while battling like an addiction, it's like you get stronger. You add a pebble to your strength. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, a no is a powerful thing, and you get stronger, and the other thing gets just a little more weaker. So while I set these ground rules for myself, she mentioned the meditation, and she had explained to me like how her experience with it and like how life-changing it was and how clear she felt, boom, boom. So I was like, you know what? I was out in LA, like I had came out here to work on the album. I had the album titles, 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I had it all mapped out. I knew what the album was gonna be called. I knew I was gonna buy the house back. It all felt like it was like supposed to happen, and I started adding that. By the time 5 months hit, I would have these revelations and clarity about my life, and I would see what was actually happening in my life.
He bought back his childhood home in Fayetteville, the house at 2014 Forest Hills Drive, turned it into a studio, made the entire album there. No features, just Cole, his memories, and his truth. The album went platinum with 0 features, 0 radio singles that fit the formula. It was his championship, his last dance. Songs like No Role Models,
No role models and I'm here right now. No role models to speak up.
Wet Dreams,
Attractions getting deeper. Wet dreaming, thinking that I'm smashing, but I'm sleeping.
and Love Yours became anthems.
Went the wrong way, think being broke was better.
Life that's better than yours.
And when that album didn't win a Grammy, it meant nothing because the experience itself was the prize. The Grammy couldn't add or subtract from what he'd accomplished. That was his championship and nobody could take it away.
That's nowhere close to a championship to me, the Grammy. There was an album that felt like a championship.
see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was the releasing of an album.
Yeah.
There was the making of this album I got called Forest Hills Drive, and the releasing of it and the tour. That was a championship run in the way that, like, you know, I would look at how the Bulls look at, you know, The Last Dance, or how you guys look at one of you guys' championship. Like, that was the feeling.
But something else was happening during all this success. Cole was struggling with the pressure, the ego, the constant need for validation from critics who didn't understand him. He'd scroll through social media, reading comments, seeing himself ranked lower than he thought he deserved, getting angry, getting hurt, and it was poisoning his creative process. He was making music influenced by what people were saying instead of what he actually felt.
There was a nugget somebody dropped for me. They didn't know what I was going through necessarily, but maybe they saw something. But it sparked a practice that would lead me to exactly what you started the conversation with, which was like just a more like peaceful place in my life and more of a, you know what I mean? And that was at the time I had, and at this time it's the team. My team ain't right, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At that time when it's ego driven, like, and you're not getting the things you want. And at this time for me, it was like, oh, the Grammys, they not fucking. Oh, the such and such magazine, or this boom, boom, boom. Why I'm not up here? You know what I mean? This is quietly what was happening in my mind.
So he made rules. No more social media, no searching for his name, no reading replies. And when he created it, it had to be from a pure place only. No outside influence, no chasing validation, just the truth.
I say all that to say I had set some rules for myself, some baseline rules, like, yo, don't go on Twitter, don't read your replies, do not search a name, boom, boom, boom. That's rule number 1. Number 2, when you're creating, you gotta create from a pure place only. Like, there was a rule I set for myself, like, everything has to only be truly what you feel in your heart.
Then he found meditation. His publicist, Catherine Frazier, introduced him to transcendental meditation. At first, he was skeptical, but after 5 months of practice, he started having revelations, clarity about his life, about where he was headed, about what actually mattered.
I got with this new publicist, Catherine Frazier, and she's an amazing woman. And, you know, in the midst of us talking, we would have conversations outside of, like, just career, and she was just telling me how she was into meditation. She was into, like, transcendental meditation, boom, boom. And I had flirted with it, like, in my early 20s, like, practiced it a little bit, just didn't really know what I was doing, but had a nice little experience, but I didn't dive into it. But mind you, her telling me about that was coinciding with me realizing, yo, something's going on.
For Your Eyes Only arrived on December 9th, 2016.
For Your Eyes Only.
KOD followed on April 20th, 2018, debuting at #1 and becoming one of the biggest streaming weeks in history at the time.
KOD, he hard as shit. This is what you call a flip. 10 keys from a car to...
Every song on the album charted on the Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously. Then came the off-season on May 14th, 2021. Cole was 36, and this album felt like a statement. I'm not done, I'm still hungry. The lead single, My Life, featuring 21 Savage and Moray, became his highest charting song as a lead artist. The album solidified Cole as one of the big 3 in rap, alongside Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Which brings us to 2024, and everything is falling apart. On March 22nd, 2024, Kendrick Lamar appeared on Future and Metro Boomin's track, Like That, taking shots at both Drake and J. Cole, dismissing the idea of a big 3 in rap. Cole had 2 choices: ignore it or respond. He chose to respond. On April 5th, 2024, Cole released Might Delete Later, a mixtape featuring the track 7 Minute Drill, a direct diss aimed at Kendrick Lamar.
Whoever ain't ducking on one-on-one shit. Hey, pull up the track, I'm about to black and going on a whole nother run.
He criticized Kendrick's catalog, questioned his standing, came at him hard. The rap world went crazy. Finally, we were getting the battle we've been waiting for. But 2 days later, something unprecedented happened. At his Dreamville festival on April 7th, 2024, J. Cole did something no rapper had ever done in the middle of a beef. He apologized on stage in front of thousands. He called 7 Minute Drill the lamest, goofiest he'd ever done, a misstep that disrupted his peace. And then he pulled the song from all streaming platforms. The internet exploded. Half the rap game called him soft, weak, a coward, said he backed down from competition. The other half called him mature, wise, a man who chose peace over ego. But here's what nobody understood. Cole wasn't afraid of Kendrick. He was afraid of becoming someone he promised himself he'd never be.
Believe it. You know what I mean? Like see it all the time and believe it, and whatever you gotta do to protect that belief. My version of protecting that belief was I wasn't sharing this.
Yeah, you weren't.
I wasn't even telling my mom. She knew I rapped. She knew I did music, and to her it was
don't
like,
let somebody knock you off.
I'm not even gonna give my own mother the chance to try to bring me back down to reality. It's not gonna happen.
Remember that 6-year-old who learned his actions could hurt people? That kid who became a self-corrector? He was still there.
All I remember was her face.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think that was the life-changing moment to where after that I didn't need much correction, I became a self-corrector, is because that was the first time that I became aware that like, oh, my actions can hurt someone else.
And that kid was saying, this isn't you. This isn't why you make music. This disrupts everything you've built. Your peace, your purpose, your truth. So Cole chose himself, chose peace, walked away from what could have been the biggest rap battle of the decade.
Okay, what is it? Oh,
And in October 2025, it cost him. Cam'ron filed a lawsuit against J. Cole, Universal Music Group, and others involved with the song Ready 24 from Mike Delete Later. Cam claims he contributed lyrics and a full verse, but wasn't properly compensated or credited. He says there was a verbal agreement. In exchange for his contribution, Cole would either collaborate on a future song or appear on Cam'ron's podcast, It Is What It Is. Cole allegedly never honored the agreement, despite 2 years of requests. Cam'ron is seeking at least $500,000 in damages and royalties. The lawsuit exposes something about Cole World that fans don't like to admit. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes. He breaks promises. He's human in a game that demands gods. And that Might Delete Later album, it had another controversy. A lyric on the track Pie was perceived as transphobic, leading to backlash across social media. Just another wound from a project that was supposed to be a statement, but became a mess. Cole's had controversies before. In 2020, he released Snow on That Bluff, which many perceived as directed at rapper No Name for calling out top rappers' silence during the George Floyd protests.
But damn, why I feel faker than snow on the bluff? Or maybe because deep down I know I ain't doing enough.
He later expressed respect for her and accepted the criticism. In 2013, there was a physical altercation with Diddy at an MTV VMA afterparty, which Cole confirmed years later on the off-season. The two have since made peace. But this felt different. The Kendrick situation, the Cam'ron lawsuit, it all felt like the universe was asking Cole a question. Who are you really? In his personal life, Cole married Melissa Heholt, his college sweetheart, in 2015. They have 2 sons together, and Cole keeps his family life intensely private, rarely speaking about them publicly. As of 2025, J. Cole's net worth is estimated at approximately $60 million. His major screen appearances include the documentary J. Cole, For Your Eyes Only, 2017, Creed 3, 2023, where he made a cameo, The Come Up, 2013, J. Cole Forest Hills Drive Homecoming, 2015, and appearances on Black Panther Wakanda Forever soundtrack contributions. His biggest hit songs that defined his career include Workout, 2011, his commercial breakthrough,
and go low. Now, girl, won't you drop that thing down to the floor?
Power Trip featuring Miguel, 2013,
My drinks spill on me while I feel on you, I'm saying.
which became his highest charting song at the time. No Role Models, 2014, which went viral years after release and became a cultural anthem. Middle Child, 2019, which debuted in the top 5 and earned him a Grammy nomination. A Lot with 21 Savage, 2019, which won a Grammy.
How many faking they streams, getting they plays from machines?
And My Life, featuring 21 Savage and Murray, 2021, his highest charting lead single.
Don't have strong desire or strong vision, and don't have something. And they live a peaceful life and an enjoyable life, and it's like, yo, I go to work. I like my job. I like my salary. I'm not
trying
stupid
to,
rich, but I love my family. I come home. Life is amazing, and they live their life like that. And I think that is just as valid. I think that equally valid. I don't think anyone should feel, because I've come across people who maybe, because we live in a very we live in a society and a culture that pushes, it's like a hustle culture, and work hard, boom, boom, boom. And I think people, could feel almost guilty or like insufficient for not having some great dream to dream. And I'm like, no, it's a blessing to be satisfied, to be at peace, to be content with life. You know what I mean? Like, I have this job, I have this family, I have
listen to music, but I don't need to be
I don't need to be that guy. I'm cool with this, you know what I mean?
But the truth is, Cole isn't chasing hits anymore. He's chasing pace. He's trying to teach his kids the lessons it took him 30 years to learn. He wants them to find peace faster than he did, to not attach their worth to external validation, to not need the Grammy, the Ferrari, the mansion to feel complete, because he's been on both sides now. He had nothing and had everything. And he's learned that true peace is wanting something, but not needing it, being okay without it. Cole's currently working on The Fall Off, an album he's been teasing for years. Whether it ever comes out is anyone's guess, because maybe Cole's learned something the rest of us haven't figured out yet. Sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do. And sometimes the real victory isn't winning the battle, but refusing to become a prisoner of the past.